So, okay, well, we're excited. We just rolled in like literally 10 minutes before this Zoom. Yeah. We've been down in San Diego at a Healy retreat kind of mastermind event, and it was really fun. And you know, I know it was cool because you guys got to experience what we did in October. Like Saline was here and Brian, and that was so fun. And for us, being a part of this, we did some training yesterday, but we also got to receive, and we want to share with you some of the nuggets that we received, because it was, you know, it's always inspiring. We always love to inspire you guys to think outside of the box, because as you know, we always say how limitless the Healy is. And when you're working in the quantum, everything is possible, right? And so we just want to really share like some of the things that we were inspired by this weekend. And it's just so fun because we're at the forefront, you guys. Like, this is the beginning of this. You know, we have this amazing technology, this amazing device. We've got this community that's growing, and we're really at this forefront of being able to get this out. And so we're still learning. Like, there's a lot of learning going on, and for us to be able to receive, you know, from people that really resonated with us as far as the thought process of thinking outside of the box. And so we want to share a few of those little nuggets tonight, and just a few things that really, like, we would take notes throughout and be like, we want to share that with the team. So we're going to share basic stuff tonight, and then as we dive in a little bit more, we're gonna really take some pieces that we learned and highlight those in the upcoming months, because there was so much, and if we tried to do it right now, you would be overwhelmed. So we want to take the really basic stuff that you can take tonight, and then each time we're going to teach a little bit more to you. So yeah, it was fun. You know, for us, we got to connect with, you know, Donna's on here with us, and many of you guys have heard her, and the person that brought Donna in and shared the Healy with Donna is Terry, and Terry's who put on this mastermind. And so we got to go spend some time with her, and we really hadn't spent much time with her in the past. She's helped us here and there, but really Donna's been our point person. And so it was really good. It was nice for us to see more of our roots, you know, like we have such a good relationship with Donna and with Karen. She's been on a few times with us, and for us, you know, those roots and relationships are really important to us. And we were just really well taken care of this weekend, and felt so much love and support, and just really excited for, you know, that we're all in alignment, the vision, you know, and that's the most important thing. And, you know, like, we had Ron Williams spoke with us on Saturday, and Donna knows more of his history, but he's a consultant with Healy. If you guys know, he used to be the CEO of Young Living. I mean, he has like a phenomenal background and really speaks from the heart. And he talked to us on Saturday, and just, you know, very authentic. I mean, he was like, you know what? Yeah, Healy has grown so fast. We totally are going through growing pains, and he talked about like the high reward, the high reward. And then what comes with that? It's all, you're not going to grow that fast and not have the pains that go with it, but those are good things, you know. And so, you know, for us, I know many of you have experienced, like, here and there, we've experienced stuff that it's like, it could be a little frustrating, but knowing that they're continuing to work that out and things are getting better and better. And so that was really great. And then Freddie Perez, so he is Terry's husband. And if any of you guys have done the tech support that he has the link, well, it used to be freddieperez.com. I know you can go to there, but he is like a man of like the biggest heart. And every time we would send people to him or we'd work with him, he is like so patient, really walks you through any kind of issue you might be having. And so he was there, and he just talked about one of the most important things, and this is the one thing that we wanted to share with everybody, that he said, please let your teams know. Make sure that you keep your iOS systems up to date. So it is really impacting the way that the Healy works. And he said so many times people will come to him and they don't know their own they don't know their own device. So if you're using your Healy with your phone, or you're using your Healy with a tablet or whatever, know that device. It's your responsibility to know the device. You need to know where the settings are. You need to know how to update it, and look at the about section, about, under your device, and see what system it's running at, and make sure it's always up to date, because he talked about Germany is constantly having to work because, like, Apple, I think he said in the last 3 months, there's been like, it was a ridiculous amount of updates. And every single time it updates, that Germany has to come in, and he called it a patch, and they have to patch whatever happens so that Healy will continue to work, because Apple just continuously updates. So he just said it would cut out so many issues if people were paying attention to their software, and if it was in their device, and if it was up to date. So that was the one thing that we wanted to share with you guys about that.
That's for tonight.
Yeah.
The reason I didn't update the last update from Apple iOS is because I was concerned it had something about tracking your COVID vaccination app on that would be added. Do you all know anything about that?
Oh, I've got an iPad. I didn't ever hear that.
Yeah, so
I looked up what did the update include, and I'm just very concerned because they're planning on using our phones to track us and who's ever been jabbed or not jabbed. And so when I saw that it was a COVID-19 app that would be added in that newest update, I didn't add it.
So I think that you can actually, yes, Donna.
I just wanted to say I've updated my MacBook Pro, 2 iPads, and my phone, and none of that showed up. It may be in the notes that they may plan to do that. You're going to have to give them permission, but none of that showed up in the actual update when you did it.
Okay, well, I hope not, because I hope they're not hiding and deceiving.
Right.
You signed up for it, but we don't have an icon, but we know whether or not you've been jabbed.
I know that over the last couple of years, I've heard many different things about the updates, and I know that you do want to look through your phone and look through the updates and the notes and stuff, and you can turn different things off. Like there is a lot of things outside of just that do get snuck into different things on the phone. But Brian, do you know about that specifically? I feel like they're monitoring us no matter what, so I don't really.
Well, that's true. Yeah, they're listening right now if they wanted. It's just so many. I don't know how they keep track of it all. But anyhow, I'll look again and update. And I guess the worst case scenario, I do something different on my phone.
Okay, so to counter that, because the one thing that we do, like all of our devices that we use, besides my phone, we have 4 Healys that we have 5 Healys, but 4 of them we use with actual tablets, like an iPad and a Samsung and everything. And all of those, we keep the Wi-Fi off. So, and actually it has been more beneficial for us because of all the updates and things. We find that the only time you need the Wi-Fi is when you actually load the initial software and you set up your Healy. And then we turn it off, and only if I want to sync, like the in the Blue app, there's over the last month, there's been new things that they put in there. And so I needed to sync it and update it. And so then I will turn the Wi-Fi back on to do so. And then I will immediately turn it back off. And what that does for us is it really keeps our Healy from glitching a lot.
Okay, that's very helpful to know. Yeah. Because it's sort of like, hey, you don't have it, you better get it. Yeah. That Wi-Fi to sync. So good. Just do it when there's a new update.
Yeah. I mean, I probably, honestly, unless I hear of an update, because mine's pretty updated, I probably won't check my Healy out for at least a month unless something's up. If I start to have
Oh.
some kind of a glitch, then I will check it.
Okay. Okay. Well, very good to know.
All right, so now we're gonna roll into the fun stuff that we learned. Hi, Ann, I just have to say hi.
Hey,
And
I figured it out.
we actually used Ann as an example in our training yesterday. And because Ann is, besides Tammy being on tonight, who is our newest, Ann has only been in our group for what, 3 weeks, maybe? I don't even know, really soon. And one of the things that we talked about yesterday was we talked about remote sessions and how we use them and the duplication of that. And Ann is such a perfect example because I loved what you were sharing on our mastermind group about, you know, how she literally is doing exactly what I did for her. She did it. I did a remote session for her, and the very next day I texted her and did another frequency program for her. And then she's doing the same thing. And it's just been really fun to watch that duplication of when you do that for somebody and they learn it, then they go around, when they get their Healy, they know that that's what they do. So she got on a remote session with me, with her daughter. I taught her how to do that. And then, you know, so she's doing her own remote sessions. So it's great. So Anna, you were one of our examples yesterday.
Well, good.
But so now what we want to do is we want to just go into some of like the nitty gritty of like some fun stuff that we learned. You know, we get asked a lot about all the different Healy programs, and, you know, we have the program list, but there's so much more to it, right? And all of us, the things that we really, as we said in the beginning, that we really want to inspire you guys to think outside of the box. And what we really got this weekend again was experiment. We just want to encourage you, experiment with your Healy, you know, see what works for you, because it is limitless. Just use it in all kinds of ways and tell us, like, if you find a new way that you're using it, great, tell us how that's working, because there's such limitless ways to use it, and only you will know if it's working for you in that way. So I always encourage people to really just be intuitive with yourself, feel into it. If you're, you know, what I really got was I can run frequencies a lot more than I am, you know, and, you know, there are things, you know, when the Healy comes into the United States, it comes in as an FDA approved type, medical device 2 or whatever. I don't know, Donna, you're like the pro at that, but, and so there's all these things, you know, you guys know, I mean, with the United States, we're like under all this constraint of what we can actually talk about, right? So Healy's not going to come out and say, you can do all these things. But for us, like, we like to teach what we do, and we want you to just dabble in what you do and feel into it. Does it work for you? Does that feel good to you? You know, and if you don't feel good, then don't do it. You know, it's just common sense, you know, like, so we really want to encourage you guys to experiment with your Healy and use it in different ways. One of the things I wrote down, it's a tool of higher consciousness. And I love that. And, you know, we've seen that so many times. And so we want to just roll through kind of some of the stuff that we learned, like just a few things, like, see this little necklace I have on? We got these as gifts, but you can buy, you know, you guys have seen, like, Tammy, you make your own jewelry. You could just you could make a necklace, and I think you asked me, Barbara, what that little piece is, that little white piece that comes with your Healy.
Did.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
For the last year, I never even knew what the heck that was. And and I was like, I don't know. But then I found a video and I sent it to you, right? I was like, this is what it is.
That was very, very helpful.
Yeah. So it was based off of your question that I actually found out what it was. So
I don't think I have that on mine.
that's because you have
Mine
to,
doesn't have it either.
that's because you have
Mine
to look
doesn't
through
have
your
it.
stuff. There's a little plastic baggie in your book,
Okay.
and every Healy comes with it. And you
Okay.
actually have to take the clip off, and I can send you all the little video that I sent Barbara of showing you how to do it. You take the clip off, and this is the little lanyard piece. I didn't even know what the heck it was for this whole time. So we got these, and all they did, Terry and these other women, that they just got a clip, you know, like if you make jewelry, you see the little clip, and they just clip it
Mhm.
around a necklace, and it just has a little clip that just goes right
Called
on
a
there.
lobster clip.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Thanks, Ann. It's a lobster clip. So the fun thing, I couldn't last night when I woke up in the middle of the night, because those are when things come through for me. I was like, oh, you know what's cool? Because they were talking about how people always ask him, that's really cool. What are you wearing? It's a frequency device. It's Tesla technology. Oh, see, Donna has hers right there. There you go. And then you get people who are asking you about it. It's cool. Brian got one too. Look, show him yours. He's got one around his neck.
Yeah.
His is manly colors.
It's the manly colors, the browns and the greens.
Earth.
I was so in the middle of the night, I was like, wow, you know, if I met somebody and they asked that, you know what I could do? If I had 5 minutes extra and they were interested, I'd be like, would you like me to run a scan on you right now? And actually show them that what the Healy can do right then and there, run an assessment on them and just say, this is what it does. If you want a full session with me, let me have your name and number and I'll contact you and I'll book one. So super fun. See, Tammy, you could get into the jewelry business of making us all necklaces.
Yes.
I would be happy to do that. That would be awesome. That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, it's so fun. And you know what I love about it is the other thing that I don't know if you guys know this, but when you run a program in the Pink app, so you're running, so say today, like right now, I have energy loaded on this because we were driving home and I had no energy. So I ran energy on the gold cycle. Watch this. I don't have anything attached to it. My phone's not around the device. All I have to do is push the button again. And look, there we go. Guess what's running on it? Energy. The last program that you ran on it is loaded into your Healy. So you can wear this around with your face and whatever program you're going to run for the day. And this is what I got this weekend. You can run many frequency programs. Microcurrent, not so much. You want to pay attention to how much you're doing the microcurrent, but frequencies, when you're running it like this through the quantum and it's just hanging around my neck, you can run them all day. Again, you want to pay attention to how do you feel. Some people their frequencies are very powerful. So you may not in the beginning. I know in the beginning I had to be more careful because I was getting really cleaned out from the frequencies. But now I've been running it for so long, for over the last 14 months, that I can do a lot of frequencies now. So now I'm running energy. It's already loaded in. So that's a fun fact. Cool, right?
Very.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question that's probably stupid because you've all had yours for a while, but so you don't need to be connected via Wi-Fi, Bluetooth then for the frequencies?
No,
Because I notice mine loses connection really easily. Like I can walk 5 feet away from it and.
as long as the green light is flashing, it is running. So,
Okay.
So Tammy, so now they actually have a toggle on the top of the Pink app that you can turn the Bluetooth off. Before they had that, you just could walk away. You can just close the app out and walk away. And as long as it's still flashing green, it's still going.
I figured.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no, you're good. So the next thing and this is good for you, Tammy, because I know that I've run the Healy on you remotely and stuff, but you know that there's 3 ways to run the Healy. You can run the Healy where you're getting the frequencies, which are called, what are those called? Radionic frequencies.
Mhm.
And then so that's when you're not hooked up at all, right? You're just running it through the quantum. Then you can run it with the microcurrent and radionic frequencies where you're getting both. And that's when you're hooked up to the wires, right? Whether you do it around and we learned a lot about that. We're going to do a deep dive around on a different one, on all the different ways that you can use the microcurrent, because that really blew my mind. But you can just, and Dr. Webb even talked about like the basics of that. Like if you're working on something from waist up, you use it around your wrist. If you're working on something from waist down, you do it around your ankles. but there's all kinds of really fun things like we got, and once we get the links for you guys and we talk about when we actually do a deep dive with you, there's socks, there's gloves that have those same attachments on them. And so think about the people with like neuropathy and, you know, hand issue, all these different things. There's so many different ways that you can hook up the Healy. You can look up the TENS unit accessories, and there's tons of accessories out there. So yeah, Healy doesn't sell it like that because they have parameters, being that they have to come in and yeah, adhere. Thank you. My brain couldn't find the word. but once we get it, you know, you can do whatever you want with it. So play with it, figure it out. So then we want to kind of go into one of the fun things. I didn't bring my headband. I'm so bummed. Okay. So
You're a MacGyver one?
yeah, I need a MacGyver. No. So just pretend I had a headband on and I had my Healy off and I wrapped the headband around like I'm a hippie and I placed the Healy in it. So you can do this to decalcify your pineal gland.
Oh,
Right? Super fun. So, and this is a really good one. I want to give exact. So you can run, for those of you that have the bioenergetic vitalization, which after this weekend, if you don't have it, like I always talk about digital nutrition, but the bioenergetic vitalization is the stem cell frequencies. And that one has a pineal program in it. So you can put this here and run that. You can also run crown chakra. There's other ones you could run. Inner unity in the mental balance now the pineal gland one obviously is to help with the pineal gland, but there's other things that you can do when you run it right there to really have different experiences. And Brian and I actually experienced, interestingly enough, and we're going to talk about this at the end, but I know we've kind of dabbled with you guys about the 21-day chakra meditation that we're going to start with you next week, because we want to go into the new year really bringing in the light and abundance and doing that as a group. So we're going to do that. And one of the things when we were doing that is when we ran third eye or heart chakra and we were doing the different programs through that 21 days, we would place our Healy on it just because we were like,
why not?
Yeah, but then to hear these other people that are doing the same and the experience they're having, I'm like, okay, we were spot on with that. Because we were having amazing experiences. So again, play with your Healy, experiment with it. Okay, that one I knew that you guys would be really into because that's cool. Did you guys know? Did you guys know that the deep cycle programs were created for NASA to detoxify the body?
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So under deep cycle.
Yeah, I knew that.
Exciting. Under deep cycle, clean all. There's a clean all. That detoxifies all the systems in the body.
Mhm.
Then there's free flow. That's for circulatory blockages. And now I'm just telling you, these are great. This is just something that we're experimenting with and we're using it like this. So we're just sharing how we're doing it. This isn't from the corporate office or anything. This is just how we're using it. So that's our little thing. The other thing,
what it relates to.
Yeah, this is
And all the downloads, I printed all the downloads. I got a whole little deal. So yeah, it relates to that. You can definitely say that.
And I think that when you use these in different ways, really feel what you're feeling and bringing your own intuition and really seeing how is this helping? Like, do I feel like I'm detoxing my whole body? Like just using these programs in these more thorough ways. Another one that we learned about the deep cycle is really interesting. When you end this pair of women that were teaching us what they do, they have had amazing results with using go to the root. So ending any kind of program, like any kind of healing session you're doing or any kind of programs that you're doing, go to the root and then release. So go to the root, which is in deep cycle. Really,
Absolutely.
it goes directly to the mental and emotional state, right? So wherever, so, you know, people always ask me, go to the root. I figured it went to the root of the problems, but it's really, you guys know, like that everything comes from that emotional mental state, right? So going to the root of that. And then they said running release and gold cycle after that to really help release the physicalness of that. So they said that was
Absolutely.
a power program, those two.
Mhm.
You guys got, are you?
You know
right,
what,
like-
too, when you, if you'd notice, when you run an analysis on someone, it'll run in that order too. I like to keep in mind what their second and sometimes third are, because sometimes there'll be another energy or cleanse and then a release. So
yeah. And this is again, like for me, when I'm working with somebody or even when I'm doing my coaching and I see something pop up, I like to explore that more. I use Healy as a guide. And again, this is the more you use it, the more you're going to have a relationship with the Healy and the frequencies, and really you're going to trust and more is going to come into you because we're working into quantum. I mean, you're just continuously opening up. So let's see, the next one, there's so much fun stuff here. Going back to the bioenergetic vitalization, I know this group will really love this as well. That if you have that bioenergetic vitalization, there is a program in there for vaccine additive removal.
and that's not what it's called, is it?
Yeah, it is. I think so.
Okay.
That's what they said.
I'm looking.
In the bioenergetic vitalization. Brian's gonna pull it up. I didn't know that, but that's what they said. And they said actually you can look in your Heal advisor, like, and it shows up and it tells you what it's for. So there's that. Then coherence. So how many of us are into manifestation? Yay! So coherence, we use coherence all the time to connect with it. See, Brian's running coherence. We're always using coherence, but I didn't know that it is a great tool for manifestation.
Think about that.
Yeah. So the one thing, and I know I talked with you guys a lot about intention. I cannot express enough how important your intention is. The more direct, the more clear you are on your intention. And I say this in the beginning remote sessions, I always say, and you'll know, I remember saying this to you, and this is the analogy I use, is that when you get in a car and you put the gas pedal down, it's going to go, right? We know that the Healy is going to work no matter what. But you get in a car and you put your hands on the wheel and you type in the GPS of where you're going, you're going to get there a lot quicker and smoother. Your intention is the Healy's GPS.
You're right.
But Donna, I don't read sign language.
Make that a quote. Make that a quote. Your intention is Healy sign language. That was good. That was great.
Your intention is Healy's GPS.
That is profound. That is like,
Well, the reason I like to bring things in so people understand, and so in remote sessions, when everybody's first remote, I always talk about that when I start working on their intention with them. And let's see, I don't see, it's got to be called something different.
Yeah, I don't know if there's the
Yeah,
harmonization.
maybe we'll have to look under the Heal advisor.
Yeah, we'll look into that.
We'll find out exactly what the Healy program is for that vaccine. But anyway, so intention. So really, like when you think about coherence and you want to use it for manifestation, really think about and visualize and feel what you are bringing in before you click start transmission. Because the moment you click start transmission, you're already communicating with the quantum. So that is the quantum language, is really feeling, seeing, that do as much as you can. And that's why I always say I'm a feeler. So I like to feel, what does it feel like for me? And I shared this on our mastermind group. Freedom, complete freedom is my thing, my manifestation. That's what I'm going for. Complete freedom from the matrix, right? So what does that feel like for me? That feels like I can create anything. Nothing constrains me. So I'll feel into that. The joy, the love, the connections we get to make, the places we travel, the experiences. So when you're using coherence for manifestation, or anything that you're using in your Healy, really start to work on your intentions. Super important. All right, we're gonna keep rolling here. Okay, this is how many people ask you about sleep? How many people have issues with sleep? A lot. Yeah. So let's go back to, again, we're not going that. This is definitely not in the manual. This is just how we're using it, and we've been using it. We've been using in the blue app. When you run your analysis, you have a place where you can change the vibration times, right? So I know many of us use, like Dr. Corrine talks about 12 minutes, 56 minutes. Like there's different people are using it in different ways. Well, what we learned this week is that like you can use it for sleep, and you can run it for 8 hours vibrating on that. And again, in the past, we did run even clearing of our house for 4 hours, and we woke up a couple hours later, we're like, whoa, we gotta turn that off. So you got to pay attention to yourself. But so you can go in and you can do an analysis on yourself under sleep and click vibrate and run it 4 or 8 hours, 2 hours if you want. You can run it for a really long time to help, and it's going to go through everything that came up for you under sleep. It's going to keep rolling through that. And I highly recommend, so I did this last night, and I plugged I had plugged my iPad in so that, because it doesn't turn off, you can't turn off the blue app. And I plugged my Healy in, because when you're in the blue app, you can actually plug the Healy in, and so if I'm going to run it, like when we run it on our land and we leave for 4 hours and run it, we always have it plugged in because it's going to take some battery, right? So first you start with the sleep programs. If those don't work for you, the next ones that you would do is the job programs. And the job programs really help support the adrenals. So they talked about reprogramming your adrenals. And I bet, Barbara, you probably get a lot of this, right? People's adrenals are taxed from stress, toxins, all this stuff. So run it. I want to encourage you guys, run it for 8 hours tonight. Like pick something and run it for the night. What, Donna?
I'm doing it tonight. Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. And I wear like one of those Invisalign things, and I grind my teeth, and my adrenals are shot. And like, really?
Yeah.
Why didn't I think about that? Thank you. Bless you.
I was like, I've seen her do all these things. Okay, now if job doesn't work for you for sleep. So first you're going to try the sleep for sleep. If that doesn't work for you, the next night or 2 nights or 3 nights, I would encourage you to do it for a couple of nights to try things out. The next time you'll do job. If that doesn't work for you, you're going to go into deep cycle. And so those are the 3 that they recommend for sleep. First, you start with the sleep. That doesn't work, go to job. And the next one, go to deep cycle. And again, you're going to run them for 8 hours vibrating on that. Okay.
That's very interesting, because I know I ran sleep and found that it got me to sleep, but I was waking up and not really sleeping through the night.
Yep.
So I'm very happy to hear this,
Yep.
because as much as I would have liked to have been there this weekend to get some of this information, I wasn't. So I'm so grateful you're sharing this, because this is powerful.
Yeah.
So you're awesome.
Oh, last night I went to bed running to sleep and I woke up at 3:30 in the morning. And because we went to bed a little late last night, I'll share more of that some other time when it's appropriate. Just
Or is it?
we had a little after hours fun playing some Texas Hold'em, and Brian and I cleared the table because Brian won the first hand of the pot. Then he won a Healy watch, and then I won the second hand of the pot. It was really fun. So I personally, when I go to bed late, I sleep like crap. I am such an early to bed, early riser that if I'm in bed past 10, my whole system is screwed up. So I ran the sleep and I woke up at 3:00 in the morning, and I had slept good until then, but Donna had that same thing happen. And so what did I do? I immediately shifted the job, and guess what? I relaxed and fell asleep. It worked. So, okay. Then let's see, where am I? Oh, okay. So we do tell you guys all the time that one of our very, very favorite things to run is creative homeopathy. Love creative homeopathy. Okay. We've been running it for like 56 minutes a day. Again, so and I know like Jerry, some of you saw Jerry do, he talked with us a couple months ago, and he talks about just deep diving, right? Like let's get this crap cleared out and done. Well, that's what they talked about this weekend is, yeah, we could do, 12 minutes here, a couple minutes here, all this stuff, and it'd take month, 2-3 months. Or you know what? You could just boom, 8 hours a night, do creative homeopathy and clear a lot of emotional trauma. Creative homeopathy clears out trauma and stress. I highly encourage you to do your assessment and look at it and see if it resonates with you, because I have been doing creative homeopathy for a long time, and the same exact one keeps popping up, really, really high percentage on mine. And it's because it's like childhood shit that I've had with my, we all have it. We have programs. We've got all this stuff that we've holding on to. Creative homeopathy. Then this was really fun. Donna, you're going to love this for your real estate people. I had this conversation this morning with one of the women that was teaching us yesterday, and she was talking about clearing homes. And she said that they had this really interesting experience clearing this house, and they used creative homeopathy. And the very top one talked about not wanting to move or something around moving, and she's like, that doesn't even make sense because it was a home. And come to find out the story of the house, it had been moved 45 years earlier to this place, so it was super accurate. But what she said was, because creative homeopathy helps with emotional and stress, homes carry that. And I remember Skandar used to talk to us about when if something is happening in a home, like say there's an abuse to an animal or something, that energy stays there. And so we all clear our houses with like the general protection stuff, which is great because subtle is for darker stuff. But creative homeopathy is going to clear those emotional and stress energies that have been in the house from other people or from the house itself if it's experienced something. So I thought that was really cool. But I really like the creative homeopathy. Yeah, cool, right?
Wow.
So creative homeopathy, you want to be running that. Like I would encourage you guys for the next, I know whether you're going to work on sleep or you want to work on releasing some old baggage and ancestral stuff, like old traumas, pick one of those and start running them. And you could do the sleep one at night. You could do the creative homeopathy during the day for 8 hours if you wanted, So then moving on to the next thing. And I remember Donna talking about this a long time about camping out at something, right? And that's what Dr. Corinne's whole protocol is about really holding one intention. Well, they really talked about that with programs. So just continuing to run that program throughout the day over and over again. And again, going back to just getting a good amount of those frequencies consistently. Again, paying attention to can you handle that or not? Because back a year ago, I couldn't have handled that. I could only run like 2 a day before I was, kind of tapped out, because it was so new to me. Frequencies were so new. But now, like I just showed you, I just pop on this and I'm running frequencies all day. So in the Pink app, pick 3 different ones. Maybe you're working on, whatever ones you're working on. I would pick 3 and just run a lot of them for a few days. So I know pick something to do. Don't do all of this at once, but pick one lane that you want to go in and try it out for a while. And then pick another one that you want to go in and try it out for a while. And then pick something that comes to you and try that out for a while. So
Question.
yeah.
So you're saying pretty much unlimited blue app, and that's where the creative homeopathy is?
So blue
Do that kind of unlimited and then 2 or 3 pink apps?
No,
a day?
actually, what I would say is unlimited is pure frequency. So the blue app and the pink app, when you're not hooked up to the wires, is pure frequency, right? When you're hooked up
Right.
to the wires, you're getting the frequency and the microcurrent. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the coil in a minute too, Donna. That was the next thing.
I've never put the things on. I've never done it that way.
Okay, so this is good. You have the bioenergetic vitalization, right? And the
I
stem
do.
cell.
Mm-hmm.
Besides doing it up here when we talked about the pineal gland,
But that's just the Healy. That's not the little things, huh?
No, so this is what I'm getting at.
Okay, I'm sorry.
All the other stem cell, all the other bioenergetic vitalization, you really want to be hooked up microcurrent for those. You're
Okay.
not getting the full benefit of those if you're not hooked up, because it's such a physical thing.
Good, because I had to have that.
Same with digital nutrition. You can run the frequencies and it's all good, it's all beneficial, but if you want to get really more bang for the buck and you really want it to work as well as it
Right.
can, I would hook up. Anything very, very physical like that, hooking up. Now, when you hook up though, you're only doing that, maybe once a day. You're not or maybe twice. I don't know. Again, feel into it. That's the one that you want to give yourself your body some time. But the other ones, and I know other people are different. You got to see how your body responds. If you run 8 hours in the blue app and you're like, I'm feeling pretty tired, then slow it down. Take a day off, maybe run less, only run it for 12 minutes. So this is where you gotta really start using your Healy and seeing what works for you. Maybe take some notes, write down like in a little journal of what you're using. Yeah. Which programs are you running? How long are you running it for? How many times a day are you doing it? And really start to pay attention to your body. Because this is your own personal responsibility for you to figure it out, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, okay. What else? Pain, the same one with pain at night. If somebody's in a lot of pain and you want to vibrate on that throughout the night, that can really help relieve pain. This is really interesting about the microcurrent, since we're talking about microcurrent, and I know Dr. Webb talked about this, about you don't want to feel the microcurrent, right? So you turn up the intensity until you feel it, and then you want to back it down 10%. So once you so this is when you're hooked up to the wires, you get to where you feel it, and then you back it down 10%. And very interesting, because after the first 1/3 of the program, it gets more intense. So it's why it's important to back it down 10%, so that when it does get more intense, you're still good, right? But know that it gets more intense because it's really in the rhythm with your own body.
Mm.
Yeah. Anything? Do you remember anything that you really?
I should have ran the energy on the way home.
Well, this is my second time running it.
I'm impressed.
Forget the coffee, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I think there's some other stuff that we're going to share, but I think that this is good for tonight.
You said you'd say something about the coil, though.
Thanks, Anne. You always keep me on my toes. Yeah, got it. Yes, this was actually really interesting. So I know, because people, I actually, I knew about the coil and I used the coil, but it makes so much sense. The funny thing is that my daughter was home from college the other day and told me this exact same thing. But then I heard it again this weekend, and my daughter's a biomedical engineer. So she was like, wherever
Mom.
I know she said, Mom, wherever you point that your coil, it's putting that energy that direction, right? And I was like, yeah, of course I know that. So, but I knew that it created this like three, like the coil looks. Like around the your bioenergetic field, right? It really strengthens that. The thing is, and this is intuitively what I had already gotten before this weekend, and this weekend I got confirmation that this was correct. I don't use the coil. Well, you never use the coil if you're doing it remote. So if you're running your Healy, the coil is for you to have on you, okay? But I don't use the coil unless it's something for something physical, because if I'm using it for, there's one I missed now that I'm saying this. Inner beauty is really good for self-love, compassion. They talk about people with cancer. A lot of people with cancer have a lot of stuff that goes on. So helping people to really clear out and have that self-love, it's really important. But so say I'm running something like that. I'm definitely not going to be using it with my coil. If you're running, there's soul stuff, there's all these different things. I'm not using that for my coil, with my coil, right? The coil, it really, just like my daughter was telling me, if you hurt you hurt your hand or your knee or whatever, you really want the coil near what you're working on. So very physical stuff. So you've got 3 different ways that you can run it, right? You can run your Healy remote, just through the quantum. You can run it with a coil on it, and you're going to do that very specific spots. You want to have that, if your knee's bothering you and you're running it for that, have it near your knee if you can. I know some of us just clip it on and go, but I'm just saying if you can try to have it close to the body part that you want to work on, it's much better. And that's really it. The coil, you just use it for more physical stuff. I already did that anyways, but I wouldn't be using it for a lot of the mental or spiritual, that protection. I would be, those things you want to have. If you think about, you're kind of creating a cylinder around you when you use the coil. And so if you think about, do I want this to get outside of the cylinder? Right? That's how I see it. Like if I'm working on something spiritual, soul level, I want it to get outside of the cylinder that the coil's creating. So I'm not going to use my coil. Does that make sense, Anne?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, good. All right, let's see.
Can I ask, is the coil you're speaking of just your unit? Is that what you mean by the coil?
So there's an extra accessory that it's called the coil, and you plug it into, so where your Healy wires plug in, it plugs into that, and it's like, it's not my forte to like explain how the science of it works, but yeah, Donna's got it. If you can see Donna, she's got hers. I don't have mine right here. And it's for something different than, it's just another accessory you can get. So, and actually, one other thing, this is really important right now, that was in the deep cycle that I skipped over, breath of life. Breath of life. So since we're talking about coil, breath of life is a really great one to use with the coil and putting it on your lungs. So the breath of life, obviously you hear that in the name of it, breath of life. It's for your lungs. For women, really good for breasts, like if you have any kind of junk and you want to clear up tissue. It's very, very good for removing grief and sadness of life, because that's where the lungs take those emotions in. So breath of life.
And that's the program.
That's in deep cycle.
Oh, deep cycle. And that's one that you definitely want to wear your pads with too. Deep cycle and the bio energetic.
Yeah, breath of life. You know, the deep cycle, you can run both. But if you're working on your lungs, that's what I was saying. If you have a coil, you would place it right on your lungs. If you don't have a coil, you can hook up to the wires too. Those are all different. You can do any of it. You can run that one any way you want. But the stem cell, the bioenergetic vitalization is ones that you really want to use always hooked up if you can. Unless again,
Always.
like I said, you're being a hippie and putting it on your head to clear up your pineal gland. All
Who
right.
doesn't love a hippie?
So that is it for now. Any
Wow,
questions?
see what that energy program did for you?
Yeah. So it's not actually it. That's it for the training, but we have a few things that we want to talk about before we wrap it up. So but anybody have questions before we move on?
I do.
Yes, Anne.
I thought if I put someone in on my phone as a client, that when I went to my iPad, it would show them there too. Is it supposed to do that?
Only
If
if you have to sync it. So
I sync everybody.
no,
But maybe
you're if you're running it one device on two different one Healy on two different devices. So you're running it on your iPad, you're running it on your phone. In order for it's not talking to each other. You actually have to go into, when you open it up, say you have somebody on your iPad, because so this is what the master key is, right? So that's why you have a master key and it keeps your clients in there. So say you have somebody on your iPad that you're working on, and now you want to do an analysis on your phone with them.
right.
When you go into the Blue app, you have to go to settings, to cloud settings, and all the way to the bottom, it says full synchronization. You have to sync so that it's current. So if you want to be going in between, you have to sync them.
Okay, so if I add somebody, I have to do that again every time.
So I would not
That's
recommend
okay.
doing that all the time, because it's a little time consuming when you sync. And so I
just want the history that I have of the 2 or 3 people I have on my phone, and I'm gonna quit doing it on my phone and just keep it.
so just
on my iPad.
just sync your iPad, go into the cloud settings, sync it, and then everything
got
else
you.
on your phone will go over to your iPad.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so the last things we just want to end with are we're going to start our 21-day chakra meditation as a group, and that's just, we want to do that as a gift. We're going to meet weekly for that 21 days. We will send you the sound frequencies that go with it and the whole outline of what we're doing. We'll meet the day before we start on that, which is going to be on December 13th, Monday the 13th. So if you want to join us for that meditation tomorrow, when we send out the email that has this recording and where we do all our follow up with everything, bullet points, we're going to have the information on there. Please respond back if you want to be involved in that, if you want to participate, because we're not
What time?
So Monday the 13th is so we're only going to meet on Zoom quickly, just to kind of go over just to give everybody real clear on what the meditation and how to do the process, and just set some intention as a group. And then you're going to go for a whole week, and then we'll meet up again, like, maybe 30 minutes. I mean, it's not going to be a long time. So Monday the 13th, we'll do a Zoom on that. And then we're going to start day one on the 14th. And so our goal is to go into the new year really clearing up, opening up to abundance, really connecting with a higher intention and manifestation, and bringing in the light. We're anchoring the light.
Absolutely.
So
If I had more than 2 thumbs, I'd be raising all of them.
There you go.
yeah, awesome, Heather. And so And on that note, Heather right there is going to be our next highlight practitioner. She doesn't know
Good.
yet, but she doesn't know when she's doing it, but we're getting that prepared. And so she's really got a fun story. She's got a history of in her family. She's a tarot card reader. Brian just built her an amazing website. And so we're excited to highlight Heather. So there's that. And then to finish off, Brian, Brian is and we call him B-Tran because I don't confuse my Brian with this Brian, but Brian is working on a really fun thing, and he wants to talk about it and see who's interested in joining him. So Brian, take it away.
Oh, first off, Dawn, thank you very much. I got to say that this past hour was something that I've been waiting for a long time, ever since I think I started with the Healy, and I'm like, what do all these programs do? And you know, understanding that aspect, I got a lot of value out of this. So thank you very much, because this is some great stuff. You know, we've talked over, you know, the months, and as I sit here and go through this, I'm like, there's a couple things that have been doing, but it's when you just add that little thing in there, it's just like, oh, I can try this. And I got a lot out of this. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jumping into what I have been working on is, I come across a lot of people in regards to even the remote sessions that we have done, whether it be from Jaco's call, and I'm working with a couple other truther communities. And it seems to be the people that I come across, when I bring up scalar wave technology, their eyes light up. When I bring up Tesla technology, their eyes light up. When I bring up the Healy, I get a blank stare of deer in the headlights. What is that? So as I started thinking about this, my mission is to bring people together in a way that other people in the masses can relate. And one thing that I've come across is, no matter who I talk to, it always comes down to a couple different things. And one of them is, I feel like I am alone. I feel like nobody's listening. Or what can I do? How can I help? And I want to tie it in regards to all the products and services, but more or less specifically the Healy in this community, is because each and every one of you has your own individual experiences that got you to this point in life. So what I'm working on right now, and I've been creating videos right now for the past month, and I'm getting better. I'm not an interviewer. I'm not a video guy. I'm not the YouTube guru, but I think that I can put on a good interview and ask the right questions that can relate to other people. And essentially what I'd like to do is I'd like to interview as many people in this community as possible, with the intention of basically a storyline. Who are you? How did you get to this point? 1 or 3 miracle stories that you might be able to tell, your favorite programs that you utilize within the Healy, your message that you may or may not want to get out to the masses. And essentially, if you have your own business or practice, basically that information, so that when people come to these videos, they hear what your story is, they hear what your message is, and they know that they can contact you by whatever link that you would have. And when I look at the time aspect, the minimum would be 5 minutes with a maximum of about 20 minutes. If it gets really in depth, then we can go as long as it takes, as long as the content and information is good. Because ultimately what I plan on doing is taking these informations, having them transcribed into a blog, later on transcribing them into a book, and then basically giving that out to get people in so that we can expand. And I'm lit up right now in regards to the coherence, because when you said the coherence, that's what we're going into in regards to laying the foundation right now in December and January. And most likely, you know, the foundation has been laid, but really taking that momentum and going into February, March, so that when that hockey stick, we're on the corner here, and that hockey stick, it'll take off. But the only way to do that is to basically have real people with real experiences that can tell their story on how it has affected them personally, or how it has affected a family or friend or love, so that people can see that there are other people out there and there are alternative ways to heal their bodies. And that's basically what I'm working on. I'd love to get every single one of you on a call to do that with you. And that's basically it in a nutshell.
Awesome. I love it. So Brian, tomorrow when we send out the email, we're going to have Brian's information on there. And so you can contact him directly and let him know, like, yeah, I'm in, and start that with him. Does that sound good to you, Brian?
Yeah, that'd be perfect. And right now it may just be an email. I haven't set, I obviously set
I'm having
that
trouble
appointment.
understanding right now. Please try a little later.
Okay.
Is Alexa listening into us?
Oh, I'm sorry. That was my Alexa out
Oh.
of nowhere. She just popped up and told me she couldn't understand to try later. I have no clue why. Some word must have triggered her. I apologize. That was my unit. She's right here in the room.
No
It
worries.
confused me
I'm
because my daughter's name is
sorry.
Alexa, and I'm like, she's not here. That's odd.
Every time
So-
you say that, it wakes my unit up.
It's funny. All right, so Brian, so you want us to give everybody your email to contact you? Is that the best thing?
Right now it is essentially right now I have 3 appointments that I book out. I'd like to get to where I'm doing 2 to 3 interviews a day. Right now with my schedule and the holidays and everything, it's probably only going to be 1. And it's only going to be maybe 3 to 4 days a week where I'm actually able to interview people the proper way that I can actually spend time. Because once I do that, if it has to be edited, it has to be edited and then uploaded and all that other great stuff.
Right.
And then SEO and all the background stuff. So yes,
So-
email I think would be the best way to go about it.
And what email? I will put this in our information tomorrow, but can you just tell me right now what email?
Yeah, the best email right now specifically for this is Amazin, AMAZINHEALTH, Amazin Health 1776 @gmail.com.
Cool. Okay. Awesome. All right, you guys. So if you want to participate in that, which I think is amazing, and this is the thing, like we have this community of people, and we just want to keep supporting and growing and getting the message out there. And I love that Brian has this idea and this is his passion. So we really want to support that. And it benefits us all, you know, it just connects everybody and gets really sharing the love, sharing the information and telling our story. So with that,
Last thing I want to say, Dawn, is
Yeah.
we're all going to be on that ship. And when the tide rises, we all need to be rising with it.
that's right. Yeah, for sure. So, well, I really appreciate all of you. This has been really nice. And any thoughts before we leave? Any questions before we sign off? Awesome. All right,
All good.
good. All right, well, we will see you.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Well, anybody who's going to join us for the chakra meditation, we'll see you next week, and we'll send that out the information tomorrow on email.
Perfect.
Have a great night.